Hello, and welcome back to more Films That Are Constant Critique, where we take a look at films. Some good, some bad, some downright awful. I'm Bongo Baikov, joined by our host Maverick, Dren, Zaria. This week, we are taking a look at the films Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, and Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah, because I still find it ridiculous how many of these there are.
And in what such a short time span those first 8 came out.
8 in just the 1980s.
Yeah.
They had one for I think almost every year of the 80s except for 1983 and 1987.
Just very impressive.
They pumped these out so quick, like a
Yeah.
fucking factory or something. Okay, so Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. Because the last one was the final chapter, so they're like, wait, they made money, we need to do another one. It's like A New Beginning.
And there was no space, right? The previous one was only in 84.
Yeah. And I don't even think, wait. Because Part 5 came out in March. The final chapter came out in April, so less than a year, actually. 11 months apart.
Yeah.
Wow. It was released on March 22nd, 1985, which, come on, they couldn't even release it on Friday the 13th that year.
I think after a certain point it gets hard to coordinate all of these for a Friday the 13th release day. Not every year is going to have one of those.
Yeah, I mean, with this one, it's fair, I guess. Because it's Part 5. I mean, I'll get into that. It cost $2.2 million and made about $22 million, so it made less money than the previous ones.
Yeah, made less money, still a pretty good return.
Did it make less than Part 2? I'm trying to remember if it made less than Part 2. It made a little bit more than Part 2, but not much. But it made less than the first one, the third one, and the fourth one, so anyway. It was directed by Danny Steinman, who only directed 4 movies, and this was his last one.
Oh, wow, his last one.
I wonder why. Some of his other credits include The Unseen, which, ironically, I've never seen. I take it you haven't either.
Remains unseen. Correct.
We're never doing a podcast on it just because we want to keep that joke up. Savage Streets, which I think had Linda Blair from The Exorcist in it.
Yeah, that is an interesting poster.
He was an associate producer on some TV movie from 1977 called Spectre.
I'm guessing no relation to Bond.
No, none. It was co-written by Gene Roddenberry. Yes, that one.
Huh.
And co-starred John Hurt. And I'm gonna be honest, I would have rather watched that instead of this.
Yeah.
As far as the cast goes, there are a few returning ones. Corey Feldman has a cameo.
Yep.
He's one of the few actors to appear in more than one of these, because he's in the fourth one, and as the same character. Richard Young who was in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Huh.
He was the guy from the opening that gave his hat to Indiana Jones. That guy. And there's one guy that was in The Last Starfighter. Another Last Starfighter connection.
Huh.
Oh, that was Halloween that all the Last Starfighter connections. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
One cast member is named Debbie Sue Voorhees.
That's a fun last name to have, working on one of these.
She just came in for the
Wait,
audition.
hold on, I know this is jumping ahead, but in part 6, or maybe it's part 7, there's another one where there's an actress named Voorhees in that one too, right?
I don't remember. Maybe. I feel like that does happen again at some point. Harry Manfredini returned to do the score. So the poster for this, is it just me, or does Jason's mask look more like Lord Humongous from the Road Warrior?
It kind of does.
It doesn't look like that in the movie either, which is strange. And it's like glowing red or something. That's honestly not one of the better. That's not one of the better Friday the 13th posters. It's kind of...
Because, like, the mask looks... Yeah, you're right. It looks nothing like the one in the film does. It's got, like...
Feels like they cheaped
It's got
out.
square holes instead of circles. It has no... Yeah, it looks like a Halloween mask.
It's a really cheap poster, too. It's literally just black background, and then you got the mask. Like, come on. Initial thoughts. I guess I'll start with this one. This has never been one of my favorites of the series. In fact, it's one of my least favorites of this series. The best thing I could say about this movie is that at least it was short. I think it's
like an hour 18, something like that?
I don't know. It was like an hour and a half or something. Maybe...
Oh, an hour 32.
Yeah, so hey, at least they didn't drag things out too much. But yeah, it's just, I find it boring. The characters are annoying. Spoilers, Jason isn't even the killer in this one. I mean, what? And the twist is stupid. We'll get to that. Putting my socks in the laundry was more interesting than watching this movie. You know how I know that? Because I got up during one part.
Socks in your laundry.
I got up during one part of the movie and didn't pause it when I went to do laundry. So yeah, but yeah, basically, I'm probably never watching this one again. I only watched it because podcast. And I was thinking about it. You know what this movie kind of reminded me of?
What?
Halloween Ends.
Yeah, in some ways, yeah.
It has a bit of overlap with that one, because Ends, though, it also has the movie where... That's the movie where the main killer wasn't even Michael Myers, and just, like, some of the weird... There were just weird choices with it, yeah. You can go now. I'll get into my other... I'll get into it more when we're talking about it.
Yeah. As for my initial thoughts, this was the first time I've actually rewatched this. Before this, I'd only ever seen it one time. Going into it, I definitely had a preconceived notion of just like, what I remember this film being. I remember thinking that the, quote unquote plot twist was stupid. And I remember a lot of the characters being annoying, and I didn't remember much else besides that. After rewatching it, yeah, that's pretty spot on. There was only like a couple parts that I got any really enjoyment out of, but I would agree with you.
It has a few memorable scenes.
This is like at the... Yeah.
I think it's worse than part 2.
This is like at the...
I think it's worse than part 2. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's the worst movie in the whole series. Jason Goes to Hell definitely takes that spot.
Jason Goes to Hell is worse. I haven't seen Jason X in a while, so I'd have to think about that. Yeah. But I would say, yeah, this is like near the bottom for me. Because I'd rather watch part 2 over this. Hell, honestly, we'll get into this later. I might even take Jason Takes Manhattan over this one, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing to add on that I'll probably bring up as we go through these. The timeline with this one starts to not make any sense whatsoever.
I'll have to bring that up later, because I don't know, actually. Like, I guess I wasn't paying attention to that with this one. But already the timeline on these doesn't make much sense, and like the...
Oh yeah, no. It gets so much worse here, though.
I never watch any of these for the plot, is the thing.
Yeah.
So... Leonard Maltin.
Ooh.
What do you think Leonard Maltin gave part 5?
I gotta guess he gave it a bomb.
Yes.
I can't see it scoring much higher.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. He said a clever title after ... the final chapter. For more gore galore, as gruesome and disgusting as ever. And that's it. This is review. And then the story... Do we even need to say what the... Okay, the story of this one... A guy in a hockey mask kills people, except this time it's not Jason. And also Tommy Jarvis is back, but he's older. And crazier. Yeah. That's about as much plot as you need, right? And honestly, I want to get through this one really quick, because I do not like this movie.
So, the movie really focuses on a grown-up Corey Feldman's character from the 4th movie, Tommy Jarvis, who's now living basically at, like... He's not in an asylum right now. He's sort of, like, transitioning off of it onto this weird bit of, like, farmland somewhere.
It was this, like, place for, like, troubled teens, I think?
Yeah.
And I also didn't... grown-up Tommy just wasn't that interesting to me.
No. Like, we see that he's still making masks like we saw in the 4th movie, but he doesn't really talk. He does kind of freak out and, like, throw people a couple of times throughout the movie.
He spends most of the movie just being really moody and, like, quiet. Yeah. He's, like, quiet and brooding and, like, stares menacingly the whole time. Honestly, they should have just made him the killer in this. That would have been way more interesting instead of what they actually did.
And they, like, tried to...
They kind of set it up, too, at the end, but then no.
Yeah. Completely abandoned it.
Sort of like Halloween 5 does.
4. Yeah, well, 4 sets it up. 5 then tosses it out.
It's the same, like...
It's just funny that it happened with both series.
And the same installment, too.
Yeah.
Because the ending of the 4th Friday the 13th movie also kind of was doing the whole, like, setting him up. Maybe he's going to become the next Jason. But no, of course they don't do anything with it. It's so stupid. It doesn't take place at Camp Crystal Lake. It's just some home for troubled teens. So, like, what's even the point? Like... So, wait, so it's I guess it's near Camp Crystal Lake then in that case? But...
Yeah.
Why the hell does Jason care about... It's so dumb. I will say this, it does have a memorable opening. Which kind of gets repeated in part 6, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So the opening in this one is essentially Tommy having a sort of hallucination of these 2 grave robbers digging up Jason for... some reason.
And that's the only scene that Corey Feldman is in. Because he's just there in his rain jacket watching them dig up Jason. And Jason comes back to life. It has nothing to do with the actual movie. And I was also watching it and going, wait a second, isn't this the opening to part 6 as well? It kind of is. Except...
Yeah, no, I was a little surprised rewatching it. I was like, that feels really similar.
And I will say this, the mask looks pretty good in this one.
It does. Like, so they definitely change it up for this one, where it's like kind of like these blue...
They change it in every movie.
Streaks on the cheeks. True, but like this one, like, it's a different like color of like accent. It looks a lot cleaner in this one.
Well, Jason's been dead a while, because it's been, what, how long since the 4th film? Because it's grown up Tommy, so it's clearly been a while. But wait, oh god, yeah. I see what you mean about the timeline being confusing now.
Yeah, so I think this one's supposed to be like 5-ish years after 4? And keep in mind, there were some time gaps between like 1 and 2, and then I think... Yeah, so like there's a time gap between 1 and 2, and then I think 2, 3, and 4 all kind of occurred back to back. And then 5 years between 4 and 5.
Which also means that, like, what, the 2, 3, and 4 probably aren't even set on Friday the 13th. Yes. What's crazy about this movie is it has one of the highest body counts of the series.
And it's not Jason doing the murdering.
Yeah, there's like more than 20 kills in the movie. It's ridiculous. And another thing, there are way too many characters in this, and it keeps introducing characters only to just kill them off immediately.
Yeah.
They keep introducing new characters just throughout the movie, and it's so weird. And most of them were annoying. I didn't really like... It's like I read
they were annoying. It made their deaths more satisfying than anything. Like none of them were like shocking. It's like, yeah,
that's part of my problem with this movie. I just find it really irritating to watch. I just do not enjoy watching, like, aside from like maybe a few kills, like most of the movie I just find really annoying to watch. And honestly, this movie gave me a headache while I was watching it. That's like, I guess, like, Reggie was like the only character in this that wasn't like boring or completely irritating.
Yeah.
Everybody else, even Tommy Jarvis, wasn't that great in this. So,
which sucks. Like, because Tommy Jarvis in 4 and in 6 is a really cool character. In this, he's just kind of like a plank of wood that's walking around.
Yeah, you're just like, I mean, dude, turn into Michael Myers already. Or, sorry, turn into Jason Voorhees already. I guess it could be that. It could just be like Halloween Ends, or he gets possessed and becomes... or whatever the hell happened with Halloween Ends. I still don't know.
Yeah. Although that bit honestly reminds me more of Jason Goes to Hell with the whole, like, heart worm kind of
yeah.
thing.
God, please don't bring up Jason Goes to Hell. Oh, God. Yeah, the guy, like, eats the heart. Like, what the fuck was that? Okay. That being said, okay, there's a few memorable parts to the candy bar scene.
Yeah, so that's like the first real kill of the movie, and it stands out for being just so...
It's so abrupt and like...
and out of nowhere.
And weird too, like it's like...
nonsensical.
It feels like it was being played for laughs, but... I don't know if it was intentional or not. It was so weird, because basically... I'm trying to remember what happened. Okay, so... the guy's like chopping wood with an axe, and then that guy comes over with the candy bar and tries to give it to him, but then he chops.
And then they have this weird conversation where it's like, I can give you the candy bar. No, I'm angry. And then he just axes him in the back of the head. It's so weird.
But not only that, he like chops the candy bar with the axe because he put the candy bar on the like what? It was so out of nowhere too. And unbelievably, this is the catalyst for the plot somehow, because apparently it turns out the kid that gets killed in that scene is the son of a paramedic who examines the body, and then that guy turns out to be the killer for some reason. What? Why?
Yeah,
it's so stupid.
Like, the only hint that you get to that is the 2 times in the movie they show Roy, this random guy's dad. It's like they just focus on him for like a weirdly long amount of time, and that's the only hint that you get that he's this movie's Jason.
Again, they should have just made Tommy Jarvis the next killer if they wanted, because then it ties more into the previous film and like and the ending of that. It's so stupid. There's a few kills I like. Like I like when he stabs the guy in the mouth with a flare.
Yeah, no, that's like the one that stands out to me in this movie.
Those are like the two
is
best
the flare
kills.
one.
Those are probably the 2 best kills in the whole thing.
Yeah. Because I remember the throat one, I remember the axe one, I remember kind of like the head crusher, where it's like the...
when they're in the woods.
Like a belt.
Yeah, that one's okay, but unfortunately very censored because of the MPAA. I mean, if they run into the woods and just have sex, I mean, what else is gonna happen? Like... And there's a crow, too. Like, it's just... What? And that's another problem with, like, some of the later... I mentioned this. You can tell they were really trying to censor the gore in this one. There's like tons of kills that happen off screen.
They cut away like really earlier. They don't focus on them.
It happens with some of the other movies after this as well. There's that one woman that tries to drive away, but the car won't start. I mean, just... At this point I was noticing just all the slasher movie cliches, and that was more interesting to think about than anything that was actually interesting. Oh god, there's that dumb outhouse scene where they're singing like I hate that scene so much. That's another thing about there's just a lot of little things about this movie that annoy me. It's just like, I never...
Yeah. Because it feels like nothing's really set up properly, nothing really resolves properly.
No.
Honestly, you know what the closest thing I could compare this to is? It's like a slower paced version of Halloween Prodigal Son.
Kind of, you know what?
Actually, cuts to characters you don't know or care about getting killed in kind of boring ways.
That's not well. Halloween Prodigal Son had a few like really funny kills. Like when he just slams the dude against a wall a bunch of times.
That's fair.
But I kind of get what you're saying, because if you cut this down to just the kills, the pacing on this would have been insane. Because there are so many kills in this. There's so many kills in this, and it's just these random people we don't know that just showed up, and they just die immediately. It's like, what? There was a picture of John Lennon on the wall.
I did not notice that.
And not too far away from it was a picture of a walrus, and I was wondering if that was intentional.
That has to be intentional, 100%.
And then also to add insult to injury, like they're like watching TV at one point, and they're showing A Place in the Sun on the TV, and it was just making me go, I wish I was watching that instead.
Yeah.
So I'm like, one of Elizabeth Taylor's best movies. Like, I was so tempted to just shut the movie off and just watch that instead.
Yeah.
And actually, I did end up, when I finished this movie, I was like, just fuck it, I'll just watch that right afterwards, just to...
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I only really have one more thing to mention.
I have a few more things.
Okay.
Oh, well, actually, okay, another thing about Place in the Sun, that that is a minor connection to Friday the 13th, because
Oh, yeah?
a huge plot point in that movie is that someone drowns in a lake.
Huh.
Although the circumstances are completely different, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what else do you have written down?
So the only other thing is, it kind of does an Escape from LA thing, where the ending seems a lot better than the rest of the movie. Like, it feels like we walked in on something else at the very end.
Yeah, because it's the whole... Again, I kind of mentioned this, but, like, they...
Yeah.
Okay, there's this fake out with Tommy imagining himself killing someone. Then it turns out it's a dream. But then right before the credits, we see him put on the Jason mask, and it's just implied he kills her anyway. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's so stupid. They should have done something with it. Okay, because it's kind of like in the Halloween movies where they try setting up Laurie's daughter as the next killer.
Yeah. And I think it would have worked better if they took out the dream sequence part and just had it be that, like, implication. But that could have been an interesting thing to, like, set up for, like, an actual movie.
The movie is called A New Beginning, so it's like...
Yeah.
I had a few more, I guess they're minor things, but there's a part where Reggie hits him with a bulldozer. That still doesn't kill. That's pretty funny. There's a fight in a... Okay, this part was actually kind of funny. There's a fight in a barn with a machete and a chainsaw.
Oh, yeah, that part was fun. Because it was kind of putting fake Jason on the defense.
I wish they just made him actually Jason, but there were a few parts... There were a few things towards the end which were kind of funny. Tommy gets stabbed with a machete and still survives to the next movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then there's this stupid twist. Yeah, I hate the twist in this so much.
I will say, it is kind of funny just how much abuse this random paramedic can take when he's pretending to be Jason. Because he gets hit a lot in this movie.
Maybe he is just possessed by the spirit of Jason or something. I don't know. It's stupid. I basically, I don't know. It's now we can get to overall thoughts.
If you really want to watch all the Friday the 13th movies, I guess it's in there.
I guess.
Other than that, you could just skip over this one.
It's a cheap cash grab. I mean, they pumped it out so quick after the fourth one made money. And it's obvious. It's again, like I mentioned, one of my least favorites of the series. It's not as bad as Jason Goes to Hell, though. So there's that.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking before I watched Jason Takes Manhattan, I was thinking, am I gonna like this more? But we'll get to that. It's also just really forgettable. Aside from like a couple of scenes, this is one of the more forgettable. This and like part 2 are like two of the most forgettable.
Yeah.
The series. All I gotta say about this movie is, damn enchiladas. Okay. Oh god. Okay. Part 6. Unless, did you have anything? No?
No. We can move on to part 6.
Fuck. Okay, part 6. Friday the 13th, part 6. Jason Lives. They really wanted to make sure people knew, you can come back, Jason's in this one.
Yep.
It was released August 1st, 1986. So, again, not released on Friday the 13th. Why? It cost $3 million and made over $19 million, so less than the previous one.
So an even worse return than the previous one.
This is the lowest performing movie of the series so far. It was directed by Tom McLaughlin, not to be confused with Tom Laughlin, aka Billy Jack.
What else is this man responsible for?
Tom McLaughlin directed episodes of Freddy's Nightmares.
Oh.
The Nightmare on Elm Street TV show. Which I think Freddy Krueger is like the crypt keeper for it or something. and also episodes of the Friday the 13th TV show, which I know nothing about, to be honest. But
from what I understand, it kind of just uses the name, but is completely unconnected.
Isn't, like, I think I heard somewhere that Jason's not in it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck does
even a lot of episodes, though. 72.
What's even the point, then? Okay, that's stupid. I honestly always forget those two shows exist.
Yeah. Especially the Friday the 13th show, because it just has no connection to the movies.
When was that?
I think 87 to 90.
That ran for 3 seasons?
Yeah, it had 72 episodes.
Tom McLaughlin also had an acting role in the best Disney Star Wars film.
Oh boy.
The Black Hole.
Awesome.
The cast, I didn't really write down most of the cast, but one of the cast members, Tony Goldwyn, later voiced Tarzan in the Disney Tarzan movie, so there's that.
Oh.
That's kind of a funny connection. The music was done by Harry Manfredini again. And
so coming back.
There's also a few Alice Cooper songs on the soundtrack. I forgot about this.
Meaning he is returning, because he was also in the Prince of Darkness.
Yes, and he acted in it, and he did a song for that movie as well, right? Yeah. So, Teenage Frankenstein, and He's Back, the man behind the mask.
The mask.
Yes, which they're not bad songs, actually.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
He's Back is pretty good. Like, I like that it includes Alice Cooper, like, saying, like, you know? There's another one called Hard Rock Summer, but I don't remember what part of the movie that played.
Yeah.
I just remember the other two. Overall thoughts, initial thoughts.
Yeah. Do you want me to start with this one?
You can start, yeah.
This is the movie that I have seen the most amount of times. I've seen this one in theaters and then just like a couple times at home.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
Yeah. This is, without a doubt, my favorite movie in the series.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's a solid entry.
I would say this, and for me, it's between this and Part 7, my favorite of the series. I like those two the most, but yeah.
Honestly, that's fair.
I might like this, although actually
it's between
rewatching them, I might prefer this one a little bit more, but we'll have to talk, I don't know.
Because it just feels a bit more competently put together. The cinematography is very good in this one.
The lighting's really good in this one.
Yes, the lighting is fantastic.
I actually thought the editing wasn't bad in this one.
Yeah.
There's some interesting editing choices. Camera work was good.
Tommy Jarvis is back in a bigger role, and there's like a more heroic role in this, where he feels more like a protagonist.
The actor that plays him in this, I know it's not him, but he looks sort of like Michael Dudikoff from the American Ninja movies, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought that was kind of funny, but did you have any? I guess my initial thoughts, I didn't really have much written down, but I think it's one of the more entertaining ones, because this is kind of the one where they're just like, let's just make Jason invincible and not even take the movie seriously. Like, you could tell this one was a lot more, like, tongue-in-cheek, and they're just like, okay, like, whatever, at this point, who can take these movies seriously? And like you said, it's better made than some of the other ones.
Yeah. A lot better made.
I think it has one of the best Jason depictions, and like, if you just want a movie where Jason is just completely indestructible and badass, then this is definitely one of the ones you need to see.
100%.
And there's some pretty memorable kills, and also just some other interesting choices, which we'll talk about. Definitely one of the more amusing ones. Leonard Maltin.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to guess 1.5. He likes it barely more than the others.
No.
Really?
He gave it a bomb.
Really? Even this one wasn't able to crawl out of that territory.
He said, if you really think there's something to gain from watching Jason rise from the grave again, good luck. The pits. He hated this one. And while it isn't a ringing endorsement, Gene Siskel thought this was the best of the series.
Yeah, that's fair.
He gave it 1.5 stars out of 4 and thought it was the best in the series. Okay, so getting into this, I mean, it's like, okay, Jason gets resurrected and kills a bunch of campers. I mean, do we need to?
Yeah, like how much more? How much more detail do you need on the front?
Speaking of which, we should talk about the opening. The opening is insane. It's kind of like the opening of Part 5, where it's like you got these people going to Jason's grave and digging it up.
Yep.
Except here, it's like his corpse is like covered in worms. Tommy starts stabbing.
Decayed by the time of this movie.
Tommy just starts stabbing the body. And then lightning strikes it, and Jason comes back to life.
Yeah, it just resurrects him immediately.
You see his eyes, too, despite him being a skeleton right before the... But yeah, so basically, Jason is a zombie in this. I mean...
Yeah. There's no other way to, like, say it, no other way around it. Jason's just a zombie now. Fully resurrected as a corpse.
He even kind of looks and acts like a zombie a bit before he puts the mask on. And then he punches a dude's chest and rips his heart out. It's just so over the top. And, like, the way this scene is shot and lit, too, is pretty good, because it's so overdramatic. Like, with, like, the rain and stuff, and, like, it's so dark out. And I like the shot where Jason turns around. It's definitely one of the best shots.
He looks just absolutely gnarly in this one.
Let me guess. It's because of this opening that is why Jason is your favorite, like, slasher film.
It kind of is, because it is a strong opening.
Yeah. And then there's the James Bond parody at the beginning. Oh my god. Like, okay.
I forget about that every single time.
It's so funny. It's weird. Okay. Because you see him, like... I try to think of how to explain this. Maybe you should explain it.
So, after Jason kills Tommy's friend who came with him to go see Jason's body, he puts on the hockey mask, he grabs the pole that brought him to life, he turns towards the camera, it does a zoom in onto his pupil where you then see Jason walking in, like, to the pupil and slashing at the screen. Just like a James Bond gun barrel sequence.
Yeah,
it's so strange.
Because you see the blood, like, pouring down. Yeah. Voorhees. Jason Voorhees. But yeah, like, just from that you can, like, tell, like, this one's definitely not trying to be as serious as this one's a lot more, like, tongue-in-cheek. Which I think was, sometimes that works and sometimes I think it works here just because...
Yes. It helps it a lot because it's not too much. It still feels like it's taking itself at least a little bit seriously, but it's having a lot of fun with it.
It doesn't overdo it. Like, I think Jason X, it kind of tried to do that and wasn't as successful.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I think it helps that most of the actors were playing it straight.
Yes.
And also Jason is, like... I mean, granted, you never see his face or anything, but he's pretty straight-faced the whole time, so...
Yeah.
There's even, like, there's, like, some lines in this, too, that are, like, really meta. Like, I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
There's also the scene where it's like a group of people, like on like an office like field trip playing paintball.
Oh, the
paintball. They're wearing headbands that say "dead" on them.
I forgot about the headbands, but yeah, that's one of the more memorable. So, like, Jason just shows up and just kills them. He throws a guy against a tree, but he's left holding a severed arm with a machine. And the tree
decapitates 3 of them at once.
And there's a tree with a smiley face that, like, gets blood on it, too, and, like...
Yeah.
Jason, like, he walks, like, super fast with that machete, too.
Yeah, no, he is hustling.
Maybe we should just talk about Jason. So Jason, I think it's one of Jason's best looks of the series.
Yeah, 100%.
Mask looks great. And like we said earlier, this is the one where Jason just basically became an indestructible killing machine. Like, it was kind of ridiculous in the earlier ones, but he still felt like a human being. Whereas here, he doesn't even feel like a person.
No, he just feels like an absolute force of nature.
What I was gonna say is he feels more like a natural disaster at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's just inevitable that Jason's just gonna come back and just cause wreckage at Camp Crystal.
Because like the kill count's not as high as Part 5, but there's a lot of like pretty good ones.
They're a lot more memorable, I think, because like I said, the part where he throws the guy against the tree is pretty memorable, and the beginning, of course.
One of my favorite sequences is in this camper van. Like I think like maybe 2/3 halfway through the movie.
Where do I have that written down? Yeah, there's this weird...
Because he presses one woman's face into the side so hard that it deforms. Like the side of the camper van, stabs the driver in the head. The camper flips over, catches on fire, and then he just stands on top of it while it burns. It is such a memorable sequence.
It's so over the top. Yeah, I know. He's just standing on top of it while it's on fire. It's just like, this dude can't be killed. And also the fact that the car wreck didn't do anything to him either. Like,
I know.
But even before that, the scene was already... Like, before that, they were, like, having sex in the camper while listening to... Were they listening to Alice Cooper during that scene? Was that,
I don't... It might have been a different...
Or is it a different scene? I don't know. But it was... They were listening to, like, something. It kind of felt... Okay, there's a scene in Troll 2...
Okay.
Where the sister is, like, exercising. It kind of reminded me of that. And then Jason just shows up. He knocks out the lights.
Yeah, he just, like, rips out the plugs.
He kills them while they're driving away, too. That's the thing. It's so absurd. Yeah. Like, oh, my God. That's kind of what these movies are like. And then Jason shows up.
Yeah. Just like Batman.
Yeah, and then Batman shows. Tommy Jarvis comes back, but he's played by a different actor. At one point, he says that Jason belongs in hell.
Yeah. Which, that's a nice bit of foreshadowing to a later title.
I think he ate those words after seeing the 9th movie.
Yeah.
It's shot pretty well, too. It actually has decent lighting and camera work. And the editing was pretty good. There were, like, a few cuts where it, like, seemed like it was timed just right, which I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. It feels like it feels like they put a little bit of effort into this one, which is more than you could say for, like, some of the other ones, which are just kind of cheap and honestly kind of shoddily made.
Yeah.
Especially like the first three of them, I think, are a bit shoddily made in some ways. It does, however,
actually has a few more memorable characters than the previous movies.
I was about to say, I think this does suffer from a problem the other movies have. The characters are very cardboard, and the acting, honestly, the acting is pretty terrible. Although this is one where
cardboard, but they are more memorable.
That is true, and another thing about the acting, this is one of the ones where the acting was, at some points, it was so over the top that it did become funny at times. Like, there's a cop in this, or like a sheriff, who is just...
I was just meant to mention those guys.
He's just hamming it up. It's, like, ridiculous. And that's another thing about this movie. The cops in this are useless.
Yeah, no. If we were doing that awards show again...
They would be on there, right?
I think these guys would have won. Yeah, they'd at least be on the list.
Because they're pretty bad. I don't know if they're as bad as the ones in... I don't remember who won that category. Was it, did Die Hard 2 win that category, or was it,
That sounds about right.
Or was it Silent Night... It was either that or Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. It was one of those two.
One of those two.
I don't think these cops are as bad as the ones in Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, but they're pretty bad. The sheriff just, like, oh my god, there's, like, what... Okay, there's a strange line in this. He threatens Tommy, saying that Tommy's gonna be wearing his balls as earrings.
Earrings. I thought you were gonna bring up when the deputy pulls out the, his gun as a laser sight. He's like, wherever the red dot is, you bang.
Okay.
Just a weird line.
It's not as weird as the balls as earrings line, though.
That's true.
There's a Dirty Harry reference in this at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a part where they try to scare Jason with their car, but it doesn't work.
Nope.
Because if you know anything about this series, the only thing that scares Jason is water. For obvious reasons. There's just a lot. There are a lot of, like... Okay, I mentioned that Part 5 had a lot of little details in it that annoyed me. This one has a lot of little details in it that I found amusing. Like the fact that there's a cemetery called Eternal Peace.
I like how they had, like a merchandise stall that was called Karloff's.
I didn't notice that. That's pretty funny. After Boris Karloff, obviously.
Yeah.
I also thought this one is way better paced than the fifth one was.
Yes. This one feels like an actual movie.
The fifth one was pretty boring. I found this one more engaging and less annoying. With this one, it felt like every scene, something weird happened.
Yeah.
Even if the scene itself wasn't, like, amazing, it's just, like, something weird happened, and, like, a weird... Either just a weird kill, or, like, a line delivery was weird, or a line was weird, so it was just, like... It kept you engaged, at least, so there's that.
There was the one transition where Tommy was yelling at the gravekeeper to dig up Jason's grave. And he's like, dig up Jason's grave? What does he think I am, a fart head? And then it transitions to a crowd of, like, young kids going, yeah!
Yeah, that was kind of what I was talking about with, like, the editing. And so there were, like, cuts like that that just, like, you know, kind of amusing transition, so... One kill I like. There's this old drunk guy that Jason kills. Like,
oh yeah,
the guy like throws his beer bottle. Jason catches it, breaks it, and then stabs him with the broken glass.
It's so funny how the scene is paced too, because he throws the bottle behind him. You don't hear it land. And then he turns around and Jason's just holding it behind him.
That is something about parts 6, 7, and 8. Is like the kills, they were getting a little more creative with the kills, which is...
Yeah, they were having more fun with it.
There's some other ones I'll bring up when we get to them. But yeah, that one, I'd forgotten about that one too. I just found that one so funny. How, like, he catches the bottle that, like, breaks and stabs. Like, it would have been funny, though, if he just threw the bottle back at him or something.
Yeah.
Just to be an asshole. There was a kid reading No Exit by Sartre.
I saw that.
That kid is way too young to know what the hell existentialism is, I gotta say.
Yeah. It was a strange thing, but it kind of a funny joke.
Yeah, why is this kid's, I don't know how old that kid is, but I'm like, I was not reading Sartre at that age, that's for sure. That was no college, I was reading stuff like that. This one girl tries playing a card game that will help them figure out which cabin Jason is in. Like, what?
Yeah.
But then they never follow up on that.
Nope, we never find out what that is about.
Like, what? Like, I thought they were just gonna do strip Monopoly, like in the first one, but okay. Another thing that's interesting, so it's at a camp with some really young kids. Like, really young. Like, usually it's teenagers in these movies, but here these kids are like...
Yeah. It's like an actual children's camp. Like, it's actually open for that purpose now.
And some of the scenes that came from that, like... There's a part where Jason pulls a girl through the window and snaps her neck.
It happens so quick. And that's like a lot of the kills in this movie. They're not like dragged out at all. They happen really fast, and then we're on to the next thing.
And another thing that was kind of amusing about it, there was like some girl that like heard them. She like said, "Guys, try not to wake the kids." But of course, she didn't actually see it. There was one cop who looked sort of like Burt Reynolds. Did you notice that?
I did, because I was looking at him and was like, is that who I think it is? Obviously it wasn't, but...
There's no way it was actually him, but...
Yeah.
If he was wearing a hat, I honestly would have thought they were trying to make like a Smokey and the Bandit reference.
Yeah.
Another thing about this one, he breaks so much glass in this movie.
Oh, he does. He broke a lot in I think like 4, but like in this one it's like every window he finds, he smashes.
He like has to smash through it, yeah. And there's like a lot of blood splashing on windows in this one too. It's like, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, this scene was kind of weird. There's like this part where he sneaks into one of the cabins and there's a little girl there.
Oh, yeah. And so she like, yeah.
Almost kills her, but then he hears somebody and leaves. So we don't get Jason killing little kids in this, which is a bit disappointing, but oh well.
Oh, that's really not Jason's shtick.
I guess because he's like, well, if I'm gonna kill a kid, maybe I should drown him. See how they like it.
Yeah.
He crushes a guy's head at one point. That's another thing. This is also when Jason started just becoming ridiculously strong in these movies.
Yeah. And like you said, he's not really like running, but he is like power walking and he moves fast.
Yeah, he's way faster than Michael Myers is, for sure. It's just so funny.
And the way that he's defeated in this one, too, is pretty good.
Yeah, Tommy Jarvis, like, he tries dragging Jason into the water and, like, chains him to the bottom of the lake. But then he, like, passes out or something. And this one girl uses the boat propeller to chop up Jason, and there's so much blood during that scene.
There is so much. At the end of the movie does the thing, because these movies like to have like a little sting at the end of them. And so this one shows you very clearly at the end that he still lived
He doesn't look
after
like
all
he
of
was
that.
chopped up at all either.
No, he doesn't.
It's like he looks like just fine. I mean, it's because of course they need to make the next movie. And you like see him like chained up at the bottom of the lake and his eyes open. It's just like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
there's a part where they try shooting Jason a bunch, which good luck with that.
Yeah. It is a really funny scene with how it's paced, because he gets shot with a shotgun, falls down, stands up, gets shot again, falls down, stands up, gets shot down again. Just the way it's paced, and like the music stops every time he gets shot down, but as soon as he sits back up, it starts again.
Basically, he's basically just become Michael Myers at this point. Like, guns don't affect him.
Pretty much.
There's a part where these two kids are like hiding under a bed. One of them says, "I think we're dead, mate."
And the other one said, "So, what did you want to be when you grew up?" Which was a pretty funny
Yeah, that was funny.
line.
There's just some little interaction, even though those characters don't really do much. It's just like you remember some of these lines just because they're kind of funny.
Yeah.
Or Tommy leading Jason out to the lake and calling him a maggot head.
Yeah.
I guess because he was covered with worms at the beginning of the movie. Did you have any other notes with this one?
I think I'm at the end of part 6 too. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going through these really quick. So overall thoughts. This one, it's definitely one of the more entertaining films of the series.
Yes.
I would say either this or the next one is my favorite of these movies.
I would say for sure this one's my favorite.
There's a very iconic look for Jason. The kills are absurd. It has a weird sense of humor that kind of sets it apart from some of the other ones. It's pretty well shot for what it is.
Yeah.
It's better made than most of the other films in the series. But I think what helps is they didn't take this one too seriously. They just went, fuck it. Because, I mean, there's no way to take this premise seriously at all at this point. I mean...
No, they long outstretched the point where you can take any of that seriously.
It's called Part 6, Jason
I think that
Lives.
was part of Part 5's problem, is that it just took itself too seriously. It's like, well, this isn't... You're just showing me the same movie again.
And when Part 5 tried having humor in it, but it was really bad humor. Which is also a problem with Part 3, to be fair. The humor in that one's pretty bad as well, but at least Part 3, like, falls into hilariously bad due to, like, the 3D effects and some of the kills.
Yeah.
Because sometimes self-parody in a horror series just falls completely flat, you know?
Yeah, but this one manages to pull it off pretty.
I think this one, yeah, it was successful here. So, yeah. Oh, and it had some good Alice Cooper songs in it as well.
That's true. That always helps.
Did you have anything else to add about Part 6?
No.
Okay. Part 7. Friday the 13th, Part 7. The New Blood. What kind of title is that?
Because we had to do another new sounding title for whatever reason.
Was released on May 13th, 1988. Finally, they got it right.
Yes, they finally learned. Actually, was that actually Friday the 13th, or was that just a 13th?
Well, I think it was Friday. I don't know. It better have been.
Let me look up May 13th, 1988. No, it was a Tuesday.
Oh, fuck them then. Okay. It was a 13th, but not, yeah, fucking idiots. Okay, so part 7 cost almost 3 million and made over 19 million. About the same as the previous one.
Yeah. Because it made like just a little bit less, but it cost like what, 0.2 million less to make, so pretty reasonable.
It was directed by John Carl Buechler.
Buckler or something like that.
I think Wikipedia said Buechler, but I don't know.
Oh, Beekler.
He was a director and makeup effects artist, and some of the other movies he directed include Troll,
Oh.
the movie that Troll 2 claimed to be a sequel to, even though they had nothing to do with each other. The Dungeon Master, which is where the line, the Mythbusters line, "I reject your reality and substitute my own," that's where that comes from, actually, is the Dungeon Master. Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College. And Watchers Reborn, which had Mark Hamill in it. A lot of horror movies. Mark Hamill was in Watchers Reborn. Too bad that movie sucks.
Really?
He did makeup effects on Deathstalker.
Ooh.
Reanimator. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, which is the Dream Master, I believe. I get them mixed up sometimes. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. And Halloween 4 and Halloween 6. A lot of makeup effects on horror movies. This was the first time Jason was played by Kane Hodder.
Ooh. And he did it for a while after this, right?
I think he's the only actor to play Jason more than once, because he played Jason in parts 7, 8, and then Goes to Hell and Jason X. So 4 movies.
That's pretty impressive.
Terry Kaiser is in this, and he played Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, nice. Expert at playing dead guys.
Yes. In both this and in that movie. The music was done by Harry Manfredini and Fred Mullen. And I was looking at Fred Mullen's credits. He co-produced the Dan Hill song Sometimes When We Touch.
Huh.
And then he did a Friday the 13th movie for some reason. Okay, so initial thoughts. I think I'll...
One last thing that I'd like to mention. There is a short little intro to this movie that's narrated by the guy that played Crazy Ralph in the first 2 movies.
Oh, that was him, really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so initial thoughts. I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not, but this honestly might be my favorite of the series. It has probably my favorite Jason depiction of the series. And one thing I'll give them credit for here is they actually changed things up a bit in a way that was interesting. Because usually when they did that with this series, it sucked. Like what we mentioned with Part 5, they like tried to change it up a bit, and it just made it stupid. Or like we'll get to it if we ever do some of the later ones, like Jason X or like Jason Goes to Hell, like where they tried changing it up, and it just
doesn't work.
Here it was like, okay, just give someone supernatural powers, have them face off against Jason, see what happens.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
because Jason already, at this point, Jason's already a supernatural being. I mean, might as well.
So might as well add more at this point.
And some of my favorite scenes of the series are in this, and I think it's an entertaining one. It's not the most hilariously bad movie of the series, though it'd probably be like the third one for me. But I do think it's one of the better films of the series, so there's that. You can go.
So I've seen this one. I think this will be my third time watching this one right now. I remember the first time I watched this, I did not like it, like at all. I thought the whole concept of this girl having telekinetic powers was kind of dumb. I just didn't have fun. The second time I watched it, I liked it a lot more.
It does take itself a
than I did
little
that first time.
more seriously
Yeah.
than like 6, for example.
And I don't know exactly what changed between viewings. Maybe it was I was just kind of getting burned out on these movies the first time I watched it. That's very likely. But on my second time, and then just now, this third time that I watched it, I enjoyed it a lot more.
I thought you were going to say you enjoyed it
kind
less.
of a silly concept. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you enjoyed it less than you did the last time.
No, I enjoyed it more. I will admit, it is a silly concept. It is very fun to see.
All of these, okay.
Throwing stuff at Jason.
All of these are silly. I mean, come on.
That's
like,
fair.
And, okay, you think this one's silly? Jason X. Jason in space. I mean,
yeah.
I think that's the peak of the stupidity with these movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could keep going, sorry.
I don't think it's quite as strong as number 6. I do think it is incredibly fun. If you're just gonna pick up one of the later ones, I think this is a great one to choose.
Yeah. And Kane Hodder does a good job as Jason, too, I should point out.
He does a fantastic job. And actually, do we want to start off by talking about Jason in this movie?
We could, yeah, when we get to that.
Because I love his design in this one, because he just looks so, like, mangled, so gnarly. You see, like, his, like, spine starting to poke out from, like, his jacket that he's wearing. His mask is, like, pretty much falling apart by this point.
It's ridiculous that he's been through so much, but he's still alive at this point. Like,
yeah.
I will say though, like you said 6 was your favorite. I will say this 6 is funnier than this one, and it's better made than this one. Like 6 is a better made movie than this one. But I think what I like about this one is just I think it just had the most. It had an interesting concept, and they just ran with it. I think is what I like. Whereas 6, it's like 6 is just a parody, basically.
Yeah. This one definitely took itself more seriously, and I feel like it worked.
Of the ones that tried to be more serious, this is probably one of the more successful ones at that. Because, like, the first 2 tried to. Maybe not even the first, but like the first one tried to be serious, and and I guess parts of it worked. But like most of the other ones were just kind of silly, so and granted, parts of this one are kind of silly, but so I think it is like. I think before this rewatch, I would have said with more confidence, I like 7 more than 6. But now watching them again, I'm like,
it's a little harder to choose.
Because granted, part of it is I don't really take this series that seriously. So, because honestly, the one I got the most laughs out of was part 3, and that movie's fucking horrible. So.
Yeah, that one's just bad.
It's a bad movie, but it's so funny. And part 3 has my favorite kill of the series, the eyeball popping out. But anyway.
Oh yeah.
Although this one has some ones that do compete with that one for my favorite kill, but we'll get to that. Okay. Leonard Maltin.
I'm gonna guess bomb. I'm guessing bomb.
1.5 out of 4. He was a little bit more
So
generous.
he liked this one more than the others.
Let's see. I think at this point he gave. Okay, for comparison, he gave the first one 1.5.
Okay.
I think he gave the second one a bomb. The third one he gave 2. Fourth one he gave a bomb. Fifth one he gave a bomb. And sixth one he gave a bomb. So this is like, what, his third favorite of the series at this point.
Yeah.
And he said, makeup expert Beekler fails to inject much life into this endless series. Oh, man.
It is funny that he calls it endless, considering that.
Yeah,
was still a lot more after this one. He nailed that on the head.
So some trivia that I thought was really funny. One of the producers wanted this to be a more respectable entry and win an Academy Award.
I see. I don't think that worked out for him.
Needless to say, it did not. And one of the directors considered to direct this was Federico Fellini. Famous Italian director Federico Fellini. I would have loved to have seen that. That would have been so weird. They're like, they looked at La Strada, Amarcord, and 8.5, and they're like, yeah, that's the guy that needs to do it.
Perfect. That's who would need to direct a Friday the 13th movie.
What's next? Are you gonna get, like, Ingmar Bergman to do a Nightmare on Elm Street movie or something? Like, okay. So the plot of this one, it's the same as the others, except in this one, there's a girl with telekinesis. So it's kind of Jason versus Carrie, is what they were going for with this.
Yeah. I think I had heard somewhere that this started life as a Freddy versus Jason script, which kind of makes sense, but
okay, it would have been a better Freddy versus Jason movie than the actual Freddy versus Jason movie. To be honest. The beginning of this, they show clips from the other movies, just in case you don't remember. Especially from part 6. It almost felt like a trailer for part 6.
It really did, just because of all the little bits we saw from, like, you know, those first 6 movies.
Especially, like, the ending of part 6, they're showing, like, the stuff with, I think they're showing, like, Tommy, like, burying him.
Yeah.
And the chain and the water. Okay, and then at the beginning of this movie, you see this young girl arguing with her father, saying that she hates him and wishes he was dead. And then the dam collapses and he dies. So... and this traumatizes her.
And somehow through this trauma, gives her, like, telepathic powers.
Yeah, somehow. And a psychic connection to Jason, kind of.
Yeah.
And I think, again, this is what I think that's why I found this movie one of the better Friday the 13th. It kind of feels like they took a character from a Stephen King story and then just added them into a Jason movie.
It kind of does. It's got some similar vibes there.
It was reminding me of Carrie and, like, Firestarter, for example. And I mean, you gotta change things up a little bit, because otherwise it's just the same formulaic bullshit.
Yeah. Which I think is why
the first, 6 movies... Okay, when you look at the first 6 movies are basically the same movie.
Yeah, which I think that's why I ended up liking this one a lot more on rewatches, because it just feels like a breath of fresh air compared to all the other ones.
It really is, yeah. And okay, maybe it's not the best, like, developed or best written, but I did feel bad for the main character, in this. Like, it's
Yeah.
one of the few times in the series where I actually gave a shit about the protagonist. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
because really, I mean, you look at, like, the other movies before this, it's like, I guess, what was her name from the first one? Alice?
I think so.
It was alright, I guess. And Tommy Jarvis. Like, really, most of the characters in these movies are not that memorable.
No.
Whereas with Tina, it's like, okay, they tried a little bit more to flesh her out at least. It's not like...
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing, like, amazing, and some of the acting in this still isn't very good, but, at least they tried a little bit more with this. And she has Terry Kaiser as her psychiatrist, before he had to spend a weekend dead.
At Bernie's. At his own place, I guess. Spend a weekend dead.
And Jason. Let's talk about Jason. I think this is Jason's best look of the series. Because, again, he just looks so beaten up. Like, his mask is missing part of it. You can see his teeth there. And his shirt, it's, like, all wet and grimy because he's been at the bottom of a lake for a while.
So torn up.
You can see his ribs peeking through the shirt, especially in the back. It's like, good lord. And not only that, he's, like, more badass than ever. Like, he's so, like... I guess part of it is he's played by Kane Hodder, and Kane Hodder is a really tall, imposing dude. So he's, like, ridiculously... He's so ridiculously big and strong in this one. Like, with this one, at least, I can see, like, why Kane Hodder is, like, such a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Like, Jason of the series. Like,
because he just has the right physique. The way he moves is intimidating.
He's got this thing where he's, like, I noticed he, like, breathes a lot. Where it kind of feels like, he's, like, trying to catch his breath or something. It seems like he had a little bit more personality to Jason. He does this, like... Again, you can't really see his face, but occasionally you could see, like, him expressing a bit, which is more than getting, like, a lot of the other ones, where it's just, like, it kind of just feels like, okay, it's just some stuntman in a mask, which, granted, it kind of is that, but there's a little more to him. And then when he gets his mask, like, ripped off at the end, he just looks like a zombie.
Yeah.
And it's really good makeup, too, actually.
Yeah, like I mentioned, you can see bits of bone sticking out, his mouth's kind of eaten away. It almost looks like a Sam Raimi thing.
It does look like something from... Yeah, it does look like something from Evil Dead, actually, now that I think about it. Like, Evil Dead 2, especially, or, like, Army of Darkness.
Honestly, it's stupid that this is one of the first things that comes to mind, but Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, when he... like, possesses his own dead body.
I thought you were gonna mention, isn't, like, the Necronomicon in, like, Jason Goes to Hell or something?
Yeah, there is. Which could imply that Jason is a Deadite?
He might be. It honestly would not surprise me. He kind of looks like a Deadite in this one. And I'm usually disappointed whenever they do take off Jason's mask in these, but he usually doesn't look like... In the second one, he just looks like this big, like, yak dude or something.
Yeah.
In the third one, he looks like Sloth from Goonies. I'm trying to even remember, what did he look like in the fourth one?
He just looked... Because he was deformed, but just like a different way. Like, I don't know how to describe it very well.
I'm trying to even remember.
Hold on, I'd have to...
In the sixth one, he just looks like a zombie. I think this is my favorite unmasked Jason as well, I would say. I was also thinking, like, because he doesn't have hair, would Jason fit into the best bald guy category?
I guess he would. He is bald.
I know not all of them. He's not bald in the second one, but I think all the other ones he's bald in them. Even as and I think even when they show him as a kid, like he's bald sometimes.
Yeah. That's one of those things that changes, because I feel like in the first one he had hair. Like Kid Jason in the first movie had hair, but
I know he has hair in. Was it Jason? I think he has Jason Takes Manhattan, but then like, I don't know. It's all over the place. Again, the continuity on these movies, it's like, continuity be damned. Just get the movie out in time.
yeah.
I don't think they intended people to watch these in like a marathon. They were just like, like, we just need to put out another one. There's this guy trying to write a sci-fi book.
Or like a movie script or something weird.
His description honestly sounded like something I would read or watch.
Yeah. He has that one comeback to someone where he's like, I've been rejected from like the top science fiction publishers.
Yeah, that was funny. And the characters aren't as annoying in this one. That's another thing I'll say. Like,
yeah.
There was like one that like I kind of didn't like, but then she like died immediately, so so that was kind of nice that, because that's a problem with a lot of these movies. It's like, again, part 5, like I hated the characters in that, or like
yeah
even in like part 3, most of the characters in that were annoying. Because usually you just watch these and you don't give a shit about anybody in them, because it's just like, let's just have Jason like mow him down or something.
Yeah.
Should we get to talk about some of the kills in this?
Yeah.
This is the second movie of the series where, wait, is this the second time he rips a guy's heart out?
Yeah, because he did it in the last one too.
He did it in part 6. I forgot he did it in this one as well.
He also kills one cop by throwing him out a window.
He like throws her out a window. It's like ridiculous. That's later in the movie. And he like jumps through a window because of course he does. It's absurd.
Yeah.
But the main one, I mean, the sleeping bag kill, that's the one people always remember from this one. And I think didn't you say that was your favorite kill of the series?
Yes, my favorite is him just picking up the sleeping bag and just ramming it into that tree.
Yeah, he just like throws the girl against the tree and just kills her. And then they repeat it in Jason X.
Jason X, but it's him beating like one person in a sleeping bag with
another
person.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like a computer simulation or something, if I remember right.
Yeah.
It was kind of stupid. Let me guess. You want to do Jason X on the podcast at some point?
I mean, hey, the next Friday the 13th is in February.
Okay. I'm not doing Jason Goes to Hell, though. I don't want to watch that one again. There's a Terminator reference. This one guy says,
I'm trying to remember.
I'll be back before leaving.
Oh.
It's right before the sleeping bag kill. Some of the violence was cut in this one, so it wouldn't get an X rating.
And this one, it feels very obvious when they cut it, too. Because you see so little of what's really happening.
Not really a lot of gore, unfortunately. Which does hurt the movie a bit. They were trying to add like a romance in this one, and it doesn't work.
It did not work.
Yeah, not really. There's a part where Jason, like, drowns a girl when she's skinny dipping.
Yeah.
Except I thought he was afraid of water, but okay. There's another movie where the car doesn't start.
Nope.
That happens in so many of these. Like, it's just like, okay.
It keeps going back to some of those tropes that we had talked about.
He snaps several people's necks.
Yeah.
He shoves a party horn into a girl's eye at one point. That was a pretty memorable kill. I also like that they happen to find news clippings about Jason.
Yeah.
Well, that's convenient.
And I guess they went back to calling it Camp Crystal Lake after the last movie where they had renamed it.
What did they rename it again? I'm trying to remember.
It was like Green something. Camp Greenwood, maybe?
No wonder I don't remember. You don't even remember, apparently.
Yeah. It was a weird plot point.
There's one guy that says cunt when a girl doesn't show up for his birthday party.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, we kind of mentioned this earlier, but there's a girl, she finds a severed head, and then Jason throws her out the window. Because of course, it's like there's always, that's another cliche, is like they find a dead body, then the killer shows up and kills them immediately. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
that's kind of just...
And they have like just enough time to like, just enough time to stage the scene to make it look scary for the person that they're about to kill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another funny thing. It's like how Jason likes to organize things a bit.
Yeah.
And before someone else should. That's funny. Another thing I find interesting is the sound effect, the choo 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 ah. It sounds a little more like someone actually saying it.
Yeah, instead of like the weird like whispery noise that it was before.
Usually it just sounds like something they put on the soundtrack, but here it like actually sounded like someone was saying. I think it's because the echo wasn't as pronounced.
Yeah.
That might have been why. Although it's still a bit weird. Like, does Jason just walk around like
making that noise? It's the only thing he can say.
And that's something I realized while taking notes on these, is that very little happens in these movies.
Yeah. It kind of just gets to, oh, that was stupid, or oh, that kill was cool.
It's just people waiting around for Jason to kill them. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Like, there's the part where Jason kills Terry Kaiser with a weed whacker.
Yeah.
And then he, like, pretends, like, he's still alive for the rest of the movie. Like, props up his corpse. Imagine if they did that. Weekend at Jason's.
If it became a Weekend at Bernie's crossover.
Weekend at Jason's.
It gets really hard to pretend the guy's alive because his head's gone.
Yeah, he has to put the head back on. Does he, like, use, like, kind of like in Highlander, does he put, like, safety pins around, like, the neck or something to hold it on?
Exactly, then they hide it with a scarf.
Oh my god. I also noticed that Jason really likes hanging people from trees in this one.
Yeah.
That seems to happen a lot in this movie. But the main thing we came...
more so than the other ones.
The main thing we came for, the fight between Jason and Carrie, or... Sorry,
yes.
Tina in this. She tries using the forest to fight Jason, which kind of reminded me of Evil Dead.
Yeah. And there's a lot of just silly stuff where it's just she's manipulating everything around here using telekinesis. So, like, she's using it to shoot gasoline at him and set him on fire at one point.
Yeah. She tries electrocuting him. She tries dropping part of the house on him.
The house blows up, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah. She hits Jason with a light, and then he falls through the stairs, which...
Yeah.
That's when his mask, like, comes off, and you see, like, zombie Jason, and he's just rotting away. He looks like a deadite at this point. Jason's just, like, he doesn't get his ass, like, I guess he does get his ass kicked sometimes, but usually not, he doesn't get his ass kicked
Not
this
to this
royally.
extent.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, she really does just try to use the whole house to kill him.
And it still doesn't work.
Nothing works. Like, nothing kills him. She tries nail guns. She tries fire. The house burns down. Like, it's... Oh, my God. Although the way Jason does actually get defeated is pretty dumb, to be honest.
It is very lame. She basically resurrects her father, who I guess was just underneath the dock the whole time.
And then he just drags Jason to the bottom of the lake. It's so stupid.
And then it's over. It's like, well, that was kind of dumb. And like, he just looks like he has like dirt rubbed on his face. It doesn't look like he's been down there for like years, like he would have been in the story.
Yeah, you look at Jason, and Jason looks like he's been at the bottom of a lake for a while.
Yeah.
And Jason's been quote-unquote dead for less time than he has. Yeah, that makes... He should have been a skeleton. If you're gonna do that, have him be like a skeleton dragging Jason down there. That would have been... At least that would have been kind of cool. But I guess you had to, like... They had to make sure people knew that it was her father doing it, which, yeah, anyway, it was dumb.
Yeah.
There's another kill I thought was funny. Jason, like, kills this girl with a hatchet and then throws her across the room.
Yeah.
But what was funny about it was that she was, like, about to leave the house, and she said, fuck you, and I remember the first time I saw this, I was going, I hope she dies, and then immediately afterwards, Jason just kills her.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good shot of Jason, too.
It is.
I think one of the shots of Jason in this was used for the NES game, if I remember right.
I think you're right.
Because it's him with the axe, right? The hatchet.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That is from this movie, yeah. Because I guess that was the newest movie at that point.
Yeah.
Jason fights Carrie. They might as well have titled it that. Jason fights Carrie. I don't know if Stephen King would have been. They should have given Stephen King a cameo. That would have been funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Did you have anything else to say about part 7?
No, I think we can move on.
Overall thoughts. I would say this and the 6th one are my favorites of the series. Both films, I think, have the best Jason depictions where he's just ridiculously strong and looks super badass. He looks so badass in this one especially. And it gets more ridiculous from here, if you can believe that. With telekinesis angle, I liked. Helps make it stand out more.
Yeah.
Basically, they tried a little more with this one, which I appreciate. Although it does feel like it was chopped to shit in the editing room, though, which is a shame.
Yes.
Part 6 had better editing. I have a question, though. Why was this called The New Blood?
I have no idea. It really wasn't setting up anything new, so I don't know why they went with that title.
Maybe I missed that, but like they don't ever say that in the movie, do they? That's weird. Granted, the next title is also misleading. So yes. Okay.
Yeah,
did you have any final thoughts on part 7?
It's fun. It's not my favorite, but it's up there. I might put it at 3rd behind 6 and 4.
Yeah, I remember you saying 4 was your second favorite. Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. I like the 4th one as well. I would say for me, it's like I think this or 6 is my favorite, followed by like 3, because 3 is so bad but so funny,
Yeah.
and then the fourth one I would say. But anyway, so the next film, unfortunately, is Jason Takes Manhattan, Friday the 13th, Part 8. It was released on July 28th, 1989. Fuck you.
Still can't get that Friday the 13th release date.
Oh, they cannot. It cost $5 million, so it's the most expensive film of the series, but
Wow.
it only made $14 million. It's the lowest performing Friday the 13th movie until Jason X.
I could see why they kind of slowed down making these after this one if it was that much of a departure or
Diminishing returns.
You know, if it didn't perform as well.
Oh, well, okay. Jason X technically made more money, but it also cost more, so it was a bigger bomb than this one. So yeah, okay. It was directed by Rob Hedden, who directed a few episodes of the Friday the 13th TV series.
Oh, just like the last guy.
And the movie You May Not Kiss the Bride, which had the stapler himself, Rob Schneider.
Oh, Rob Schneider.
Yeah. I think I saw a trailer for it once, and it looked horrible. I think in most of that guy's movies are. Except for the stapler. The stapler's pretty good, and
Yeah.
a carrot. I liked a carrot as well. Rob Schneider is a carrot. I will say this about Jason Takes Manhattan. The marketing for it was great.
Yes.
The posters are pretty cool. I especially like the one with Jason slashing through an I Love New York logo.
Yeah.
And there's also, there's this really funny interview. I think you've seen it. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Kane Hodder showed up in character as Jason on Arsenio Hall. So he just sits there not saying anything while Arsenio Hall is just asking him questions. And from what I've heard, like, Kane Hodder was, like, behind the mask, he was just chuckling, you know?
Yeah, no, that'd be very hard not to laugh during all of that.
It's a good thing he was wearing a mask. That does make me wonder, though, what would a Friday the 13th Coming to America crossover be like?
That would be incredibly funny.
Oh, man, I would really like to see that. Initial thoughts. I've always taken this one to task because the title is bullshit. Barely any of this is in Manhattan. Yeah. Most of it is on a damn boat.
Or like random side streets, and so it's like you're not really getting a full New York experience.
It's pretty bad. It has a few memorable parts, but overall, I think this is one of the worst of the series. Not as bad as Jason Goes to Hell, but pretty bad. Although I think I enjoyed it more than Part 5, so there's that. But it's definitely like down there. It's like this is one of the ones where I'm like, I'm fine if I'm probably never gonna watch this one again. I might look up clips, but yeah. I don't need to see it in full again. What do you think? What did you think of Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan? That's such a long title.
It is, and it's so many movies. First time I saw it, so this is, again, like Part 7, the third time I've seen this. First time I watched it, I did find it pretty funny, pretty enjoyable, even though there wasn't like even though they didn't really spend much time in Manhattan, I still got a lot of fun out of it the first time. The second time, I was just kind of bored with it. This time was a similar story. I ended up skipping through parts of it just to get to
Oh, really?
the funnier parts. Yeah,
So is this your least favorite of the ones we've done then?
I still don't think it's my least favorite. It might be like my third.
Did you skip through parts of part 5?
No, just because I'd only ever seen that one once, so it was like I'll sit through all of this.
Would you have skipped over parts if...
Yes, I would have. Like the first 20 minutes until we get to the chocolate bar scene.
And like a bunch of other... Yeah. I think this one has more memorable parts than part 5, personally.
Yeah.
Maybe not for the right reasons, but...
Yeah. No, I think I would still put this over part 5 in terms of enjoyability.
And Jason Goes to Hell,
I
think it's better than Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have similar ranking then as far as that one goes. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It's also, it looks cheap too, even though it costs more than the other ones did. And like, from what I heard, they didn't even film most of this in New York. I think they filmed most of it in like Canada or something, like Vancouver.
Yeah, that I'd probably like Vancouver or something.
I think it was Vancouver if I remember, but yeah, it's just like what. I mean, hey, you do get more of Kane Hodder as Jason. There's that, but it's pretty bad. Very forgettable characters too. We'll talk about it more later. Leonard Maltin.
I'm gonna guess 1.5.
I knew you weren't gonna get this one right. 2 out of 4.
Really? That's a lot higher than I would have.
His review is just, I don't even know what to add. He said, the best film in the Friday series. I could just leave it at that, but I could go on.
Yeah.
Imaginatively directed and written by Hedden. Not really. It's still just a slasher film, though less gruesome than most.
Oh, is that why he likes it?
I guess. Despite the title, most of the film takes place on a cruise ship. Too long. Okay, I agree with him on that. And not really for fans of the series. So, like, I guess he liked it because it's not like the other ones, but fuck off. His favorite Friday the 13th movie is Jason Takes Manhattan. Let that sink in. That's ridiculous. Something I thought of while watching this one is, what if they made this movie, but instead of having Jason Voorhees, they had Jason Momoa?
Just Jason Momoa goes to Manhattan. He's still trying to kill people.
Yes, yeah. Jason Momoa Takes Manhattan. Honestly, yeah, I'd watch it. It'd probably suck, but it has Jason Momoa in it.
So, I will say, the best parts about this movie...
Are we getting into the movie now? I guess we don't really need to do we even need to recap the plot? It's just,
it's... You know what? Maybe just a slight alteration. Jason gets on a boat and kills a bunch of teenagers, then lands in Manhattan and tries to kill a couple more.
There we go.
That's the plot.
There's the movie. That's what you paid your... I don't know how much ticket prices were back then, but we'll just say $5. This is what you paid $5 to see back in 1989.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I think we should get into what's the best part of this movie, and that is the kills.
There's a few that are alright. I like the one where he... Yeah, okay, yeah, my favorite kill. Do you want to talk about my favorite kill? And you probably know what it is.
It's probably my favorite kill, too.
There's this guy that has a boxing match with Jason.
Yes!
He's just going on Muhammad Ali on him. Of course it's not affecting Jason at all. And then Jason he only throws one punch, but that punch
knocks his head off.
It knocks his head clean off.
It's so funny. Because it goes on for like a solid minute and a half of this guy punching Jason.
He punches Jason so many times, which does nothing, and then Jason...
Somebody counted in the comments of like a clip of it. He threw 59 punches and hit 57 of them.
59? Oh, that's so funny. Jason only had to throw one and it decapitated him.
I know. It's so funny.
And the head rolls off the building and lands in a dumpster. It's like...
dumpster, like a basket.
Oh, God. It's like, just... It's so stupid. Honestly, I was watching that and going, you know what? Just make a boxing movie starring Jason.
I know. There's another guy that he, like, drowns in, like, a barrel of toxic waste in the middle of the street.
Yeah. He just... Yeah, it was the professor. He just dunks the professor in the toxic waste. Unfortunately, we won't see him, like, become all melted like the guy from RoboCop, but oh well. But yeah, why is there toxic waste in the... Like, what? The only other kill I can think of off the top of my head was when he... Oh, wait, no, I just thought of another one. Okay, there's another one I just thought. Okay, so there's this guitarist with a leather jacket.
Yep.
And I knew, she's like, plays the guitar and stuff. I knew it instantly, like, okay, Jason's gonna kill her with the guitar. And then, of course, she's only in 2 scenes. She dies in her 2nd scene.
Yeah.
Jason just, like, hits her with the guitar and, like, kills her. Is it just me, or does this movie feel like there were scenes cut from it?
It really does. It feels like it was 2 movies that just got stitched together. Like, it feels like a fan edit. It
feels kind of choppy, honestly. It does, yeah. It feels like a movie with people on a boat, and then somebody edited Jason into it. That's what it feels like.
It really does.
It's so bad, the editing in this. And also, they don't even try with, like, character development for these people. No. That's a nearly consistent thing with these movies. It's like you...
But this one even less. This one really feels like they're just walking bags of meat.
You have nothing to go off of. You don't give a shit about... You literally just don't care about anyone in this, except for Jason. Honestly, we could probably make a Jason movie.
Yeah.
Because you have a Jason mask. I mean...
I do. You just get, like, a dirty Carhartt and, like, some gloves, and you're good to go.
And then all we just need fake weapons and, like, fake blood. We could go make a Jason movie right now if we wanted to.
So easy.
Don't even really need much of a script. We just need to come up with some good ideas for kills and, like...
Yeah.
Find some place that looks like a campsite. Okay, the other kill, and okay, this is probably my 2nd favorite kill. There's this guy in a sauna, and Jason... God damn it, I can't stop laughing. Okay.
It's so funny.
He uses a hot sauna rock to kill a guy. That's one of the kills I always remember for this one, because that's just so funny. Like...
Yeah.
He shoves it into his chest so hard, too. You see his chest cave in with, like, a hole. Oh, my God. As bad as this movie is, like, okay, there's a few creative kills, at least.
Yeah.
He kills a girl with broken mirror glass.
Yeah?
Sorry, I'm jumping all over in my notes. Maybe I should just go back to the beginning.
Real quick. I will say I will need to go in like 10 minutes.
Oh shit. We might have to rush through this one. Oh, I do like the song at the beginning. The Darkest Side of the Night by Metropolis.
Yeah.
I did consider using that as a theme song. But the problem with this one is just, like, you barely get any of Manhattan in it. Most of it's just on this boat, and it's boring.
And it's really unfortunate because all the Manhattan stuff is honestly pretty fun.
Yeah, like the part where Jason is in Times Square, like that was kind of cool. I like the part when he goes past those guys with the boombox. He like kicks the boombox. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Also, when the people get to New York, they immediately get mugged because it's New York. I mean, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And Jason kills, like, they try injecting this woman with drugs just because clearly that happens when in New York City.
In New York all the time.
And Jason, like, shows up and stabs a guy through the back with a syringe. The way Jason dies is kind of dumb in this one.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly happened. They go into a sewer, which made me think I'd rather be watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. His face, like, melts, and it looks so bad. I don't even know how to describe it, but it haunts my nightmares for the wrong reasons. Melts.
They like layer like flames on top of it for some reason, and then there's just a crying child Jason left behind.
But how did he even die? Like, what happened there? Like, he just drowns in the sewer, and then he turns into a younger version of Jason. Like, what?
Yeah, no, it is.
I'll say this though, at least
confusing.
At least the dog survived in this movie.
That's true. That's true.
One of the muggers tried to kill a dog, so I guess Jason is not as bad as that guy. But yeah, okay, so it takes over an hour for them to make it to Manhattan. So over 60% of this movie is not even set in New York.
Yeah, no, it's completely just, like, misnamed. It's a complete waste of the concept.
It's like, let's just have he's on a boat for so long, and most of what happens there is just boring. You don't give a shit about anyone. There's a weird scene where a student tries to seduce her professor by stripping down to her underwear.
It's really weird.
She has these anatomical tattoos. Like, what? Is she trying to be Slim Goodbody? Like, what is this? If anybody knows what the hell that is. Oh, God. Yeah, it's like the professor guy just overacts a bunch. Like,
yeah.
We get the whole someone finds a dead body and Jason chases them thing. It's just so generic, too. It's like they literally it does feel like they just had no ideas for this.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing that was kind of funny. Jason gets stabbed in the eye with this pen. And earlier in the movie, somebody claimed that pen was used by Stephen King in high school.
Yeah. Just getting stabbed with a horror master's pen.
They're doing drugs on the boat because of course.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, actually, I'm glad I scrolled up to this part. Jason walks past a dartboard. I wrote, hopefully he throws those darts at someone in this, because I'll be annoyed if he doesn't. He doesn't!
Yeah.
That's such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, no.
And the blood in this, is it just me or did the blood in this look like red Kool-Aid?
Yeah, no, it looked pretty...
This movie looks so cheap, but it costs the most out of these, which is absurd.
Yeah.
Oh, another detail I noticed, the boat is called Lazarus, and Jason came back to life.
Again,
yeah. The only thing we kind of get that you could sort of call character development, there's this girl that, like, hallucinates young Jason drowning outside. Yeah. And this happens several times for, like, really no reason.
Yeah, it's all kind of confusing.
This one does feel okay, so it's kind of funny comparing this to the first movie. The first one feels like a holdover from the 70s. This one is so entrenched in the 80s.
Yeah, specifically like
The music and like the fashion choices, it is
yeah,
the most 80s of the series by far. And just the plot of this doesn't make sense. So
no.
two people have sex on a boat, which and somehow Jason gets electrocuted and comes back to life because of course,
naturally,
and he kills them. And then he sneaks onto this boat, and the boat it's a bunch of high school graduates on a boat to New York with teachers. Why?
Yeah, no, it's
Even without Jason, that is a horrible idea.
yeah.
Why would you do that? The part where Jason sneaks onto the boat, that kind of reminded me of Indiana Jones sneaking onto the submarine in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, a little bit.
There's a weird janitor that kind of reminded me of Crazy Ralph. But yeah, most of this is just bad. Like, the only parts that were kind of well shot were some of the shots in New York. The rest of it just looks
and that's where most of the fun of this movie happens, is in New York. But we're not in New York enough.
You could make a highlight reel out of this, but most of it's just bad. It's just not even like...
Yeah.
It's just kind of boring, and... Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I'm looking through most of my notes, and it's like most of this I don't even need to bring up, just because whatever. I was hoping that when Jason got hit by the car, that the car would explode or something.
Sadly, it didn't.
Oh, there's a part where they end up in a diner. One of them says a maniac is chasing us, and the girl working there says, "Welcome to New York."
Welcome to New York.
Oh, the part when the billboard. Wait, there's like a hockey billboard with basically the exact same mask that Jason has on it.
Yeah.
It also made me wonder if like anybody in New York mistook Jason for Casey Jones at some point.
Yeah.
There's a missed opportunity. Make like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie and have both Jason and Casey Jones in it, and they keep getting mistaken for each other. There you go. There's a movie. Would have been more interesting than this. Okay, do you have anything else to say about this one? We went through that one quick.
No, not really. It's
shit.
The concept sounds fun. It's just not executed very well.
It's one of the worst entry. It has a few memorable moments though, but it's got a lot of dumb and cringy ones as well. I hate the ending. I hate the way they kill Jason in this one. It takes forever to get to New York. It's just bad. So, Frank Sinatra said in New York, New York, that if he could make it there, then he can make it anywhere.
You can make it anywhere.
Well, Jason didn't, so I guess not everyone can make it there.
Sadly, no.
And what's hilarious is I rewatched this one the same day I rewatched Patton, and the gap in quality between those two movies is like
just so astronomical.
It's so steep you can make the Grand Canyon with it. Yeah, do you have anything else to say about it?
No. I think it's time to...
Part 8, and it wasn't the last one. I can't believe they made more of them after.
I know, there's 4 more after this.
How many? Wait. So there was... Jason Goes to Hell was the 9th one, right?
Yep.
Jason X was the 10th one. Then there was, Freddy vs. Jason.
Yep.
Right, yeah. And then the remake. There was that remake. They haven't gotten up to the 13th movie yet, though, surprisingly.
Which is a little annoying.
But hey, maybe someday. I hope they call it Friday the 13th, Part 13, or something like that.
Yeah. Alright, well.
So do you have any last thoughts on like these movies, or?
No. I am a little burnt out from Friday the 13th for the time being.
We need a break from Jason for a while. Are we gonna do it? I feel like... I don't know.
I feel like we have to. There's only 4 more left.
I don't want to do Jason Goes to Hell, though. Maybe we'll do Jason X at some point. I think you said...
Maybe.
We should do Freddy vs. Jason at some point.
Yeah.
After we'll do like Nightmare on Elm Street. We'll do a few of those.
Yeah.
Or maybe just the whole series. Maybe we'll just do all the Nightmare on Elm Street, and then we'll do that one. Maybe, I don't know. That won't be for a while, though.
Until
we're doing next. We are doing some more James Bond movies, and this is going to be interesting because it's Thunderball versus it's 3 movies enter. It's Thunderball versus Never Say Never Again versus Octopussy.
the natural lineup.
Because why not?
But until
I'm
then,
excited for these, I'll be honest.
Yeah. But until then, roll the Andy Griffith.
Yep, you've saved your Earth. Have a nice day. I was watching Flash Gordon earlier.
Good night, you stupid idiot. Good night, you miserable slob.